Hello guys, welcome back to the multimedia channel. I hope that you're having a great weekend. So to those of you who are already subscribed to the channel, I want to say a very big thank you to you, for supporting my brand, for supporting what I'm doing. And to those who are yet to subscribe, I really don't know what you're waiting for. Just hit the subscribe button, and please do not forget to always like, share, and comment on the content that I share on the channel. All right, so today there are just a few updates as far as it concerns the Super Eagles team, and then basically about the Super Eagles team, the players, those of them who are applying their trade in Europe. But then before I go into what we have today, I want to talk about the Premier League. I don't know how many of you are as excited and as expectant for the new season as I am. So I want to really talk about Manchester United and their transfer so far this season. I mean, the club appears to be serious, and they really appear to be determined to boost their chances of winning the Premier League, of course, with the number of signings that they've done and then the number of targets that they have. So far, the club has brought in the likes of Leny Yoro, a very young, central defender from Lille, and then of course they also brought in Joshua Zexi from Bologna. Of course, these are two very wonderful players. Ever since they came to the club, I have always watched their highlights, to see if they are really worth it. And I can tell you that Manchester United is a club to look out for in the next Premier League season, which of course begins in August. I mean, roughly a week or two from now. So I'm really excited. Of course, we'll go back to the weekends where we watch football and then we enjoy ourselves. All right, so of course Manchester United are also currently pursuing PSG midfielder, that's Ugarte. I mean, he's also one wonderful midfielder, of course, from Argentina, that United would be fortunate if he decides. I mean, he has decided. I mean, it's just what's left now is a final agreement between Manchester United and then PSG. So like I said, United really are prepared for next season, and with these signings they are really boosting their chances for the Premier League. Of course, apparently they didn't qualify for the Champions League, but with this squad, if the players are serious, I can tell you that Manchester United will qualify for the Champions League after next season. Of course, you have the likes of Fernandes, who are still part of the club, very much part of the club, and then there are quite a number of them. Kobe Mino, who you recall how he performed in the just concluded Euro tournament 2024. So Manchester United really has a very strong side now. And of course, I'm also thankful that someone like Sancho, he had issues with Ten Hag, but thankfully he is back into the team now. And of course, he was part of those who played against Rangers yesterday, that's Saturday, in their season friendlies. And talking about that season friendlies, I watched it, from the very first minute to the last minute. I was really impressed, even though at some point Ten Hag had to introduce young players who also impressed, if you ask me. But based on what I saw yesterday, I can tell you that Leny Yoro is a very wonderful signing. He's someone that Manchester United can depend on. You understand? So provided he would have a very good pair. Of course, I know you have Martinez there, and then of course you have Johnny Evans as backup. So Leny Yoro is a wonderful signing, and what matters more is even the fact that he is a very young player. So he has quite a number of years in front of him, and he's someone who is willing to learn. I mean, from his body language you can tell. So he was really wonderful yesterday in that match between Manchester United and Rangers, of course, which ended 2-0 in favor of Manchester United. We didn't get a chance to see Joshua Zexi, but I believe strongly that he would, feature in other club friendlies that are coming up. Of course, Manchester United will also play Arsenal next week, and then quite a number of fixtures just before the season sets in and all of that. Yeah, so one other player who really impressed me, and I really wish that it would be the beginning of great things to come, is Amadu. This is one player that has not really, had the opportunity to feature so much at Manchester United. I mean, his goal in that encounter against Rangers yesterday shows the caliber of player that he is, and what we can really expect if he gets the opportunity to constantly feature in Manchester United shirts. I mean, he deserves a shirt in the first team, if you ask me. I trust Ten Hag to, and I believe that he must have really spotted the player and is willing to give him the chance that he deserves to really prove himself. Yeah, so moving into what we have today, former president of the NFF, that's talking about Amaju Pinnick, has said that he prefers a foreign coach for the Super Eagles, because according to him, an indigenous coach will not command respect from the players. I mean, Amaju is one individual that has not really hidden his preference for a foreign coach for Super Eagles, and here he is again talking about that, and the fact that it is only a foreign coach that can really command respect from this quality of players that we have in the Super Eagles. While that is true, I don't think it makes sense, right? Because I mean, regardless of your status, I mean, I know that most of these players, like the likes of Victor Osimhen, they play for Napoli, very big clubs. But I mean, the fact is that regardless of your status as a player, you need to learn to respect whoever emerges as your coach. And talking about Super Eagles, I mean, regardless of where the coach is coming from, he can be a local coach, he can be a foreign coach. The players need to learn to respect him. You understand? But what we've noticed over time is that, just like a perfect example is the case of Finidi George, who had to resign his responsibility, is the fact that some of these players are not really respecting him. Of course, we all saw what happened. They were not really respecting him, and it didn't make sense. It didn't make sense really, because I believe that these players are players who are experienced. They are exposed across Europe, and then I believe that they should really act better. Yeah, so moving on to what we have next, and this is one that you probably wouldn't want to hear. That's the fact that Super Eagles has dropped again in FIFA's latest football ranking. From 38th to 39th in the world, and then 5th in Africa. All of this is due to the poor performance that the players and the team have pulled in the World Cup qualifier matches, and then this whole question around the search for a new coach is really even worsening the whole situation. So I don't know, I just believe that I just hope that moving forward, whenever they have matches, the World Cup qualifiers, that the players would really put in effort, and win matches, not just for the ranking now, but to be able to also qualify for the World Cup. And talking about qualification for the World Cup, a former Super Eagles star, I believe you all know him, he's known as Osaze Odemwingie. He was, one of the finest wingers that we had at the time representing Super Eagles. He has warned that the country could still, turn around its, chances of qualifying for the 2026 World Cup, regardless of the fact that they've started very poorly. And I don't think any country, especially those who have been paired together with the Super Eagles and that they will also still face, in the qualifiers, I don't think any of them is writing the Super Eagles off so far. Of course, I believe that the quality that we have in this Super Eagles side, very well experienced players. It's just that, maybe due to lack of coordination, they've not really been performing well. But Odemwingie has said that the Super Eagles could still qualify, and I trust him for that, and I trust the boys to take Nigeria to the World Cup 2026. Yeah, so moving forward, so latest reports show that PSG are now willing to pay as much as 100 million euros plus a player to get Victor Osimhen from Napoli. This is funny. See money. They're calling this money to look like it will look like it's 1 million naira or 10 million naira, but this is a whole lot of money, 100 million euros. Come on, now wow, money deal. Yeah, but PSG, according to reports, are willing to pay that amount, to get Victor Osimhen to sign for them. I understand why they are, very strongly pursuing Victor Osimhen, and of course, given the fact that, their player has Mbappe has signed for PSG, so they really need a replacement as soon as possible. So it's left for Napoli to decide to let Victor Osimhen go. But whichever way, the fact remains that Victor Osimhen has really contributed to the growth, to the successes that Napoli has earned in the past seasons. He's really been a major part of the team. But we'll just wait and see how that goes. Moving forward, Alex Iwobi, is now not just a player but also a singer and songwriter. So he has actually explained his motivation for releasing a song that he titled "Don't Shoot" alongside two fellow players. You recall that Iwobi actually released the track during the summer break, because after he played a key role in Fulham's 2023-2024 campaign in the Premier League. So he said that he actually released that song, or did that song, to sort of encourage young people especially not to take to crime. He spoke about his experience growing up in London, and some of the exposures that he got, the fact that it was like a scene for crime. So basically he's trying to use this song to teach young people across London not to take to crime or as a means of survival and all of that. So it's a really good one, you understand. So he's shown us that apart from playing football, he's also talented when it comes to singing. I think it's one that you all should try and watch and then see what he's done with the song alongside the two players that I talked about. Yeah, so that's that about our updates for today. As usual, I want you to share your thoughts on the comment section. What do you have to say about Manchester United and the number of signings that they've made, and then the players that they are pursuing? Do you see them winning the Premier League next season? Do you also see them qualifying for the Champions League? So just drop your comments on the comment section. And also, what do you have to say about the fact that PSG is willing to splash 100 million euros just to get Victor Osimhen to sign for the club? Is it worth it? Is Victor Osimhen really worth that amount, or do you think that PSG are just desperate to get him to sign, especially given the fact that Mbappe has left the club and joined Real Madrid? Also talk about the fact that Amaju Pinnick has said that he prefers a foreign coach because a local coach would be disrespected by the players of the Super Eagles. Yeah, so just share your thoughts on the comment section. Thank you very much as always for watching. Bye for now.